Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to today's Neurodivergent Business Consortium's webinar. It's another week, another great day, and it's very sunny in Southampton. Whenever you are joining from any parts of the world, I welcome you today's session, Financial Empowerment for Neurodivergent Individuals. You know that neurodivergent people, we always struggle with the specific things. Some we are good at finance, some you are good at other things. But overall, what I have experienced by myself, that we have difficulties understanding finance. In a way, we don't value the finances. But when you do businesses, it is a cool thing that you must understand finances to grow. And I have to learn myself how I can be very good at finance, how I value actually money, as well as understanding the right way to deal with money. So today, we have our fabulous guest with me, and I will introduce him in a few seconds' time. But before I start, I just want you to say that please be safe whenever you are watching our webinar. Be safe. Safety is first. If you're watching at home or driving or any other means, please be safe. And I will welcome today our guest, the fabulous Michael Stan. And, and I'm very grateful to him and fortunate to have him with me all the time as a friend and talking with him every week, working with mentoring and other things. And I'm understanding money better now. And we talk many things together. He's a neurodivergent itself, and I will not spend any more time. I will ask Michael if you could introduce yourself to our audience, because this is your first program with NBC. We run programs individually in his channel. He runs programs, and I also do some programs on our marketing channel, Zenzi Marketing. But this is his first introduction to our audience for Neurodivergent Business Consortium. So, Michael, here we go.
Hi guys, hi everyone. Thank you, Shah, for having me today. As you mentioned, yes, I am neurodivergent. I have dyslexia and a little bit of ADHD, but the dyslexia is big on my side. And you invited me because I'm kind of good with finances, right?
Yes.
And as a dyslexic person, it wasn't always easy, unfortunately, and no one never thought that I'm good in the with the finances, even though I always knew that it is somewhere there. Even my family was saying, just go away from finance, this is not for you. Like, you are dyslexic, you're not going to be good with finances. But that's the case. I did really love finance, and I believe that I am good with finances. And that's what happened. So just to give you all the background of what is my experience or where I'm coming from, because like you mentioned, Shah, I'm kind of new to that program. I have 10 years of experience, plus 10 years right now of experience in financial industry. I was working as a financial advisor, helping, I can easily say, over 1,000 people getting mortgages, find investments, save up for different goals that they have, and build their financial plans. And I was also working for different companies as a bookkeeper and accountant, helping them, again, building the financial plans, sorting the finances, and trying to build cash flow and try to help those businesses stay afloat as long as possible. And so from the place where everyone was telling me, no, you shouldn't go into finance, you're not going to be good in finance, I ended up helping people with their finances for a long period of time. I also managed, thanks to it, to open my own business in the past. That, because of different issues, fail, and I've again learned a lot about that. But as you remember, we were talking about this on our previous chat. So yeah, let's just that's me, I would say, shortly.
Michael, that was a very nice introduction of you. To our viewers, if you watching today NBC webinar, Michael is a great person, and he understands finance very well, I would say. My understanding of finance was isn't that much good the way he does. You know that neurodivergent people, we struggle sometimes. But as Michael, you said that when you do something, neuroplasticity, we always talk about neuroplasticity, because if you are not good at something, a neurodivergent person are most likely to gain those expertise if they try and train themselves. And to our viewers, if you wanted to try, understand finance, you can, but it will take time. It always take time, isn't it, to understand a certain things and to create your authority to some of the tasks or some of the work you wanted to do. So it's always that way we can grow, neurodivergent or neurotypical person, anyone. So
You know, like when I was in the school, I was, and probably that's why a lot of people were telling me I shouldn't go into the finance industry, because everyone was telling me that I'm terrible with numbers,
mhm,
which again, like in the school, my teachers were like, no, you're not good with numbers. And I was like, I am good with numbers, maybe not those numbers, I have different motivations. And like I like different stuff in terms of like what they were teaching me at school. I didn't really like as much, because like geometry, I'm like, what do I need that for? But
mhm,
like the proper maths, where you calculating, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and doing all of the different things with that, I'm like, I'm amazing with that stuff. Why do I need geometry? So like some people can tell you different things that you are not good at this, but at the end of the day, in my opinion and in my professional experience, is like, if you love something, you're gonna learn that regardless whether you are dyslexic, ADHD.
mhm.
Well, at least that was the case for me.
I understand, because when people say to me that you're not good at this one, that time I said, okay, you say that I'm not good at this one, then I will prove myself um, to become good, and then I do it. I learn it, and then I tell them, okay, let's see if you think that I'm good at these things. And it's always a challenge for neurodivergent population in nationally and globally, because people don't understand our power, people don't understand our strength, people don't understand our determinations, and a lot of individual things that usually normal neurotypical person, they don't understand how good we are if we wanted to do and up our skills in certain things. So we will not dive into that today. Our conversation going to be totally finance based. So to our viewers, if you are watching our webinar from around the world, please feel free to ask us questions through the comment box. And today I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui from Neurodivergent Business Consortium, and we have Michael Stan from Uniflow. If you wanted to contact us directly, please DM us through LinkedIn, or you can reach us through social media as well. I'm just going to be running the conversation in the next way. Um, Understanding financial challenges faced by neurodivergent professionals, as I have faced enormous difficulties in my past. When I was spending more, sometimes less. Sometimes I was like, um, spend all of the things, didn't think about my future, and I was like, we're penniless. And how what is your suggestion for people like me to dealing with finance? What would safeguard us to fail in this position? Like, okay, you can be penniless, or you need to think about your future. And what are the best tactics?
100%. um, before I answer that question, if like anyone in the audience have any questions or like what you guys struggling with the most, what would you like me to talk the most about? Obviously, Shah, ask me the question and I will answer it. But if you have anything specific in your mind that you're like, I don't know how to do certain things, just either ask the question over here, like it, and if you are afraid, just message me directly. I will help you completely for free. Okay. If you're struggling with finance or anything like organizing. So answering your question, Shah. My problem, well, let me start that. When I was 18 and I got my first paycheck, I didn't literally know what to do with it. Okay, like zero financial knowledge, except of those basic mathematics skills and knowing that I know how to do different stuff, but I didn't have the basic financial knowledge that I need to budget, that I need to plan, that I need to save, that I need to invest. I didn't have any of that because no one ever taught me. And so as a person who didn't know really what to do with the money, I've spent it all. And I can imagine a lot of people here or around the world are doing exactly the same. I don't have to even imagine because I know from the experience. Like people, they get their paid, and what it happens is they spend it all without even thinking whether they will have at the end of the month.
Mhm.
They don't think whether they need to save for something. They don't save. Okay. So I was there as well. You were there as well. Maybe you sometimes even find yourself still in those kind of positions where you like impulsively spending money that you shouldn't spend, but it's just, it's an impulse, right? And so the first step to everything with the finance is planning.
Mhm.
That's the basic thing that you can do. But the most important part is actually the execution of that plan. Because, like whether you have the business or whether you run your own individual finances, you can plan whatever you want. But if you are not able to execute on it, I mean, the plan, it won't work. And because we are neurodivergent, it's much easier for us to execute on the stuff that we plan. And the best way for me was to just try and try and try and try and try and try over and over again. And every single time when I caught myself overspending, I wasn't angry at myself. I
Mhm.
was saying, next time I need to do better.
Mhm.
Like next time I need to do better. It doesn't matter that I did it already. It happens. Like sometimes I cannot, it's emotions, okay? But then I can look at my plan, I can look what I did, and I'm like, it didn't work. Like, why it didn't work? What happened? Why? Emotions, okay, all of that stuff. So it's a process. Like for me, it was a process. For every single person, it is a process of just learning the habit of, first of all, planning, but second of all, executing on that and sticking to the plan, which is the hardest part, not even for neurodivergent people, but for everyone. Like, even if, like, I know people who doesn't have ADHD, they doesn't have, dyslexia, they doesn't have any other neurodivergent problems,
Mhm.
they still struggle with overspending, with not keeping to the plan.
Mhm.
For us, it's even more difficult. So that's why we need to, work even harder.
Mhm. I understand, Michael, but still, as I say, that neurodivergent population are very prone to calculations. As you know, that is a stereotype that people think that we are not very good at numbers. I'm not good at numbers, but I'm very good at when it came from critical mathematics. So I'm very good at those numbers. That is very critical. But if you ask me, okay, I give you £1,000, you spend £20 there, £20 there, £30 there, £100 there, I will struggle. because I cannot do this, and my mental capacity will bust. Like, okay, sorry, I cannot do that. It's too much, too many numbers. But if you ask me, okay, you have a budget, and the end number, the budget is like a 500K, and that will sit on my brain that okay, my target is 500K, and to reach 500K, I can do individual things and set the things. But if you ask me, okay, you will pay salary, 20,000 to this one, 30,000 to this one, and then it will overwhelm me because I cannot deal many things, many small numbers, but
Mhm.
can deal with the big numbers and can deal with the critical things. And I think a different neurodivergent person are different, as we have individual
100%.
characteristics and individual things. So thank you very much for pointing this out. So how we can be, when we think about finances, uh, building financial resilience and confidence, how we can grow that as a as you are an expert now, and you had the same problems like I did in my past. How could we build financial resilience and confidence?
The easiest
Mhm,
answer to your question is again just by doing that stuff over and over again.
mhm,
Um, there is a lot of platforms out there that it can help you with tracking your finances, planning your finances, that can help you, being aware of what you are doing.
mhm,
Um, and also, as a dyslexic person, my issue very often was like I knew that I want to do it, but I forgot, or like I missed something, or
mhm.
it wasn't perfectly done, and yeah, I just didn't do it at the end. And so because of all of those problems that I had in the past, I started building my own products. And so, like I said, there is a lot of softwares that can help you there.
Mhm.
None of them will be like your financial advisor in your pocket. And so that's why um, me and Uniflow, we are building a financial advisor in your pocket so we can help people with dyslexia, with ADHD to plan their finances and then make sure that they stick to it so they don't forget about what did they plan and what do they need to achieve.
I understand. To our viewers, there was a time mismatch on our schedule today because UK just 1 hour ahead
Oh
today.
yeah.
So when we posted it, the events before the time change, it was your local time, maybe an hour later. So, but today we are 1 hour um, ahead of the time. So probably
Yeah.
probably we do please excuse us for that, but uh, we will have a constructive and we will have a nice session today. And we just have a message from Mahbub. He just said happy to see you again, Michael. Thank you, Mahbub, for your comments. And as you know, we will have more and more session with Michael to understand finances and talk about finances in near future. We are planning for doing some specific things. Specifically, we were planning now to assess individual businesses, neurodivergent and non-neurodivergent businesses, how you can value your company and how you determine that to ask finances or ask your people to finance you, venture capital or others. But we will not talk about that at the moment. When we prepare that a program and event, we will share that with you, that you can join us. At the moment, we're going to be talking about all about finances. And to our second, third questions, I would ask one. You know that when you do budgets, you might have some practical tips for budgeting and saving and investing. What the process you follow, and what would you ask our viewers to do if they are thinking about business development, growth, or investments?
I think what's the best in terms of the budgeting or planning your finances, or like really organizing your finances, which may be difficult for a lot of people,
Mhm.
is to actually sit down and spend that hour and be as much granular as you can be. A lot of people says take the napkin and just write down random numbers. I don't really believe in this, because then you don't put attention into those numbers. Really, you just scrap them and see some average, or like some random numbers. I really truly believe, as a dyslexic person, to have everything very precisely done.
Mhm.
And I do mistakes quite a lot with that as well. But because I'm focusing on, or trying to focus on, making it as granular as possible, later on it's much easier for me to understand different problems that I may encounter. So like, I spend over here, why did I spend more over here, of like, rather than spending less, for
Mhm.
example, because I have all of the stuff really granularly budgeted, planned. It's much easier for me to later on to go back and say, okay, on groceries, or like on certain groceries, I spend that much amount of money, where I planned that much amount of money. Next month, I need to correct and be better. And like, when I'm planning my holidays, I don't put, okay, average £1,000, £2,000, £10,000. I do granularly as much as possible, because then later on it helps me to be like, I may overspend over here. So maybe, just maybe, I need to adjust my plan in the different sections, so I don't overspend at the end of the year, at the end of the month.
Mhm.
There is tons of people around the world, in England, in USA, in developed, underdeveloped countries, who struggle with paycheck to paycheck, not because of their incomes, not because of their you know neurodivergency, uh, but just because of the lack of planning in knowing how to organize their finances. And I know it is difficult sometimes to just do it,
Mhm.
but I think that is the most important part for me, at least, is just sit down and be as granular, as detailed, and try to be, and put as much attention to it as I can. Because if I put attention to it, then it will be easier for me to execute it. If I will take the napkin and in 5 minutes just draw some numbers, I will not put attention into it. Therefore, my brain won't attach the value to the work that I was doing. And if that won't happen, then going to the shop, doing different spendings, my brain will be like, yeah, that's fine, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Like, you can spend, you didn't really plan, you don't think about this, because like, at least my brain is forgetting stuff. It's like, um it's just releasing all of the things that I didn't put attention to it. And to be fair, my girlfriend is always telling me, you never listen to me. And it's not that I'm not listening to her, it's just my brain doesn't always focus in the certain areas that it should.
I understand.
Fortunately, she understands that too. So
I understand because I'm working as a business mentor. I work with neurodivergent and non-neurodivergent business owners. I faced similar problems in my past. I had many challenges, as well as I was thinking many different individual things. Um, to get things done, it was difficult for me because, as a neurodivergent person, uh, we have um, 10 individual ideas to think about at the same time. And I wasn't focused. I was doing maybe over thinking and a lot of different things. So, but what happened, my long career, as well as my training, doing PhD and other things together, gave me an structure. So this structure, I can now concentrate on individual things at a time, as I said, at a time. So I can plan, okay, I have a budget for this to go. And planning in that way. But what I have seen mostly, many neurodivergent person that, okay, I wanted to do this, do this, do this, do this, and the budget is for only one thing. I'm not talking about those people, they have a lot of money to invest. They can do a lot of individual things. But mostly neurodivergent person, they will have a single budget to do a single work. But we are thinking three or four individual projects at the same time. And that's the time we need to think about. That's the time we need more training to, as you said, okay, planning that, okay, what we should do. We should have measurements, and then based on the measurement we should have more investments. So I have also suffered in a way that I'm working on a project and I know that my budget is okay, and my project will go uh, nicely with the budget, but in one point I see that I need to spend more time and invest more. So that time I don't have any capital on my hand. So what I need to do, I need to borrow money or I need to spend whatever I was saving. In that instances, do you have any suggestion to our viewers what they should do
In terms of
in terms of, as I said, the un those things that we cannot control, like, okay, we have a plan, we have budgets, and then our budget exits, or our plan need to be changed based on the projects and extend it, and we don't have the resources. So at that point, what we should do?
well, whether I think that's a lot of people are actually, that's a very good question, Shaq, because a lot of people are struggling how to actually do all of the stuff, even though we did the planning, we did the budgeting, but still somehow
Mhm.
we are not able to achieve all of the stuff that we would like to achieve, right?
Mhm.
Um, and to be fair, I think one of the most important parts in approaching that is doing your own cash flow. So building your cash flow prediction, I would say.
Mhm.
So you can actually see way earlier what's going to happen in the future. And like you said, like when you budgeting, you budget for a few months ahead, I guess. I would assume so. And if you're not, that's what I'm exactly talking about. It's building the budget for a year ahead so you can see month by month what kind of expenses you will have and where you would like to invest money and what kind of money you would like to invest. And putting that a little bit simpler is just literally building a budget for every single month separately.
Mhm.
What that will give you, it will show you that in 6 months you want to do that investment, but to achieve that investment now, you need to save more money. Because if you won't save more money right now, in 6 months, you're not going to have money to proceed with that project that you want to proceed with, right?
Mhm.
And so seeing that future is super helpful with organizing your finances, keeping track of your finances, getting to something, but also paying off debt, like that kind of organizing, that kind of planning, that kind of building the few budget for every single month helped me with getting out of my own debt,
Mhm.
because I saw, okay, at the end of next year I will be out of debt, so I had something that motivated me to do that. And the same is with your example. If you have few different projects and within 3-4 months you know that you want to achieve certain things or you need to have that kind of money, now it's the time to actually prepare for those months. Now is the time to start thinking how I can do it. And if you cannot do it, well, then you need to change your plan. Like, that's the thing. Not everyone has unlimited amount of money. Most people doesn't have 5,000-6,000 pounds every single month coming in. Most people earn on average 27K in UK at least, and they struggle.
Mhm.
So the most important part is to know what you want to achieve and to know now what you can do to achieve that in the future. Um, and in many cases
Mhm.
is to just cut the cost.
I understand. I understand. Um, Michael, there's a good way to understand your finance because you need to do budgets. But what I have seen mostly working with neurodivergent individuals that okay, they don't understand the side of it. Like okay, they need to save, and then they need to progress what they want. So they struggle. So that's the way. There's a good way that you said to um, budget as well as plan for your future. So I just gonna ask our
I
viewers.
think so. Sorry for interrupting. I think whether you call it planning or budgeting, it's one really thing. It's the same thing said in two different ways. And so yeah, like do that planning, do that budgeting on a based on 1 month for every single month in the year. And so you can see how easier it is for you to achieve certain things, even if you struggle with, overspending or like any other troubles that you may face. It's just going to be much easier to have that some goal in the future that you need to achieve, and yeah, and do it.
I understand. So to our viewers, if you wanted to ask us any question, feel free to ask us through the comment box, and we will try to answer all of your questions. And we just have a question from Mahbub. Thank you, Mahbub, for asking this question. What specific financial challenges do neurodivergent professionals often encounter in the workplace?
That's an amazing one because I actually wanted to talk about this.
Mhm,
So when I'm gonna say on my own experience working as an accountant for a charity, we were managing 13 different locations.
mhm,
Okay, that means that there was a lot of work in Excel involved, a lot of planning involved, a lot of managing different funds of different locations, and everything had to work properly and nicely. And so, me as a dyslexic person, uh, I'm trying to always not even double check, but triple or quadruple check all of the stuff that I'm doing, all of the stuff that I'm calculating, because I know I'm prompt to making those mistakes. My brain, it just works this way.
mhm,
And the funny part is, even though I'm checking all of that stuff, there were situations where I was working with my head of finance or people that were above me, um, where I was 100% sure, 110% sure that something is done correctly, and it wasn't.
mhm,
And so even my head of finance then was like, wow, Michael, you are 100% sure that it's done correctly. But that number here, that one number, I mean, it was huge spreadsheet. That one number here doesn't match. Can you have a look at this again?
mhm,
And so, I got angry, obviously, because I've checked 100 times that thing. And I was pretty sure that it was done, but it wasn't. And so I can imagine I'm not the only person who have that kind of issues at work. Mine was even worse because I am in the financial industry. Fortunately, that happened a few years ago, so now I'm trying to even put more and more attention than I could. But I can imagine that a lot of people who are working with different excels or organizing their work or managing, even though they think that something is done properly, sometimes mistakes happen. We are
mhm,
just human beings. Okay, whether you are a project manager, whether you work in the shop, whether you work in the restaurants, you forget. It just happens. And the worst thing we can do is just think that is bad. It's not. It just, we need to move forward. We need to think how we can correct stuff, because what happened, it happened. You cannot do anything about that. And
mhm,
so what's the most important now is to how you can fix the problem that appeared. And I think it's with everyone, really. Again, like any problem you have in life, something happened, just move forward and try to fix that problem, try to think how you can actually, deal with it. And yeah, and so that's what I did. Fortunately, I had really good managers in my career, so they did understand um, that I may have, well, I have dyslexia, so they were completely fine with me to going back to it and correcting it. It was just happy to see. Well, it was just funny to see sometimes the reaction being like, "Oh, really? You checked that 4 times?" And they were actually, some people just are surprised that that your brain works differently because they don't understand how your brain works.
I totally agree with you, Michael, because um, when you're working with a big team, sometimes it could be overwhelming to understand some of the aspects of your team, as well as understand finances could be difficult at the same time. So it's better to, for myself, I would say, uh, be honest with you and as well as with your team, because you can make mistake. We are people. We can make mistake. It doesn't matter. It's not end of the day that if you make any mistake. But if you are apologetic and if you think, okay, learn from your mistake, that's the true fact for you to improve in the next time. So I have seen many people that, okay, they do mistake, but they do not want to accept it. Okay, they have done the mistake. And that's the point. At that point, you will lose confidence from your co-worker. So that's not a good thing. So, to our viewers, if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask us through the comment box. And we are here today discussing financial empowerment for neurodivergent professional. And you will know that we are neurodivergent person, and we have different type of struggles. And finance is one of the things. We never understood finance very well, but if you are a business owners and if you wanted to grow, you need to understand finance and you need to trigger your neuroplasticity and grow this expertise within you. And this is not difficult because um, I have struggles. I'm learning now. I have learned a lot of many things, individual things, and now working specifically with targets, working specifically with budgets. Yes, sometimes it can go through because if you see about program in big corporations or small companies, they will not go on your plans because there will be some interruptions on your plans because plans we just think is like a dream that we do, but uh, if we can do it correctly and if we can change it correctly, the way Michael said, okay, you have to have a plan, maybe 6 months or 1 year budget for your projects or the entire life cycle of your project. But you have to review it every month. That okay, how much you are spending and how much is your target and how you are paying this to you. And if you cannot do it, ask one of your colleague, ask someone like Michael to engage with your project and support you with that. And this is not end of the world because if you cannot grow your expertise on finance, don't worry about that. You can try, but if you cannot, there are people out there to help you and support you. So today we are talking about financial empowerment for neurodivergent individuals, and you know that finance is a core thing for our development and day-to-day activities and to learn um, progress our projects. So we have Michael Stan from the Uniflow, and we are talking about finance today. So Michael, I thank you very much for your contribution today, and we're going to be developing more programs in future for our neurodivergent individuals. So in relation of finance, if I ask you some more questions, you know, how do we overcome our barriers uh, to success in finance as well as get rid of our stress? What is the core motivation of you? How could you manage those things? First thing is how we can be successful in financial to demolish our barriers. What are the barriers and how could you um, uh, you know uh,
Yeah.
deal with these problems?
Um, I think the barriers, at least my barriers, were first of all difficult of learnings,
Hmm.
different things. That was definitely the one of the largest barriers that I had.
Hmm.
And well, maybe, yeah, I still really have difficulties of learnings. But what I found in the past few years is that if I really got interested in something like finance,
Hmm.
it's coming so much easier, you know. And so I think that's one of the biggest barriers for people like me, is just to learn something new. And so the first step would be to find something that you are really interesting. And I know that there may be a lot of things that you people are interested in the same time, because hello, I'm here. Um, but yeah, just try to, do all of the things that you want to focus at the same time, and try to slowly focus on less and less and less, and get to the point where you do one thing, and focus on that one thing, and learning that one thing will be so much easier. So just pick one of the things that the learning coming the easiest to you,
Hmm.
um, because that was my largest barrier to anything that I wanted to do. Um, but when I got some motivation and I knew that I may be good in this because I'm actually like spending time on it,
Hmm.
I become good at this. Okay, and like, because of those learning issues, because of those struggles that I was going through, this is why also I've started building all of those products, because I do learn something, and then I learn something else, and I learn something else, and I forget different things.
Hmm.
And so while building the products that we are building in Uniflow, whether it's for financial planning for businesses or financial planning for individuals, I don't need to remember now any of the intricacies of financial planning, or how to do certain, calculations, how to do other calculations. I don't have to worry about the mistakes, because once it's written as a code, once it's working as a software, I can just put my numbers then and be like, yay, it's working. So that's taking the stress less of, like, yeah, taking the stress of me, because I don't have to worry about those stuff anymore, because they are there, and I don't have to worry whether I calculated something correct or not, whether those numbers are fine or not. And so, yeah, I think in life in general, it's all about finding that one thing which is super difficult that you are interested in, and trying to as many things as you want to try, to find that one thing. Because if you won't try those few things, like 10 different things in the same time, you're never gonna find out what is that one thing that you actually passionate about, that you actually can focus on, that it's easy for you to learn.
I totally agree with you, Michael. We might have the individual or different challenges. To our viewers, you might have many challenges, but if you wanted to overcome all the challenges at the same time, you cannot do it, because that will not work. Because we have a capacity, we have a mental capacity, we have a working capacity, we have different kind of capacity. So one at a time would be the good thing to
Yeah.
master and as well as deal with. And we can switch on and off things, as most of the neurodivergent population, they are watching this webinar. They will probably, most of them will accept that, okay, we can switch on and off things, like, okay, I don't want it to listen, I don't want it to think about that particular thing, that we can switch off. So we can switch on off things. So my suggestion would be to the viewers that if you are struggling with finance, deal with it, because without switching off these things will not streamline you. So better you switch off some other things, and then get these things streamlined to learn it, to have your neuroplasticity grown, and then based on that you can deal the other problems, because the finance is the core thing for any businesses or even personal life. If you don't have right planning, you will struggle. I struggled, and it took me a long time to understand the core motivation of finance. So you have to do it. If you don't do it, then it's a problem. So I will ask you, Michael, some other question, because you just talk about Uniflow on your software. So you probably know that there are many software available nowadays that you can get help from. If you don't understand finance, you can get a software to support you, web app or mobile app or many other things. So can you tell me a bit more about Uniflow? Because I think our viewers, they like to know more or about your software, what you have invented, and how it can help them if they wanted to utilize this for their personal or business uses.
Thank you for that. The software itself has been started being invented because I wanted to have something that I can actually run my finances without, going to the Excel every single week, going to putting all of those numbers, making sure that Excel works, and spending 2 hours every week on making sure that that my numbers are correct. And because I was in that, it was very important to me to have that numbers correct.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of all of my problems with trying to remember certain things and like being dyslexic, it wasn't easy thing to run that Excel every week. It wasn't easy to do all of that stuff, and I couldn't really find a products out there who would be able to help me achieve my goals, because unfortunately the market is full of financial products.
Mm-hmm.
That's fortunately, sorry, but unfortunately those products
Mm-hmm.
are focusing on helping you plan your finances only for 1 month.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big issue, because I can plan my finances for this month. It's great, but every single month my finances are different. Like some months there is Christmas, so I need to spend more. Some
Mm-hmm.
months I want to go on holidays, so that's gonna be more, and I need to save for those holidays way earlier. Sometimes I, have friends' birthdays, kids' birthdays. What if you have family? Easter, we just had Easter, so all of that stuff cannot be solved by 1 month budgeting, which is provided by, I think, 100% of the financial planning applications. So that's the one side. The other side is that there are financial applications that you go to the app and you're connecting with the financial advisor, and then you talk and you do all of that stuff. And so that's cool, but they charge you around £100 an hour in that app to connect to those professionals, which is fair enough, because they have skills, they can help you, and it costs money.
Mm-hmm.
But me being in that, I wasn't able to afford, I wouldn't be able to afford a financial advisor to pay for £100 an hour. And also that financial advisor wouldn't be there with me
Mm-hmm.
to stick to my plan, to kick my ass, I would say, sorry for the sentence, to kick my ass and be like, Michael, you overspent here.
Mm-hmm.
And so because I couldn't find any of that, I'm like, let's create something that can be for me, so I can not only plan for all of my stuff over the year, but also for the next year if I want to. So I can track track all of my finances on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, so I know exactly where I am and whether I need to adjust something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not angry at the end of the month that I didn't know, or like I ran out of money and I didn't know. Because now, because of the applications that we created, I know exactly why my balance today looks like it looks like, because I've planned for it way earlier. Okay. And so that was the thing. What the Uniflow is trying to solve really is to help people who who need that help, who need to plan their finances, who need to get out of debt, to actually be able to do it by themselves, step by step, rather than helping professionals like myself, financial advisors, for help and paying them big bucks. So the Uniflow is created for everyone to be able to do their financial organizations, financial planning, financial tracking by themselves without any financial knowledge, because it's a literally step-by-step process, and it takes, in the individual app, it takes around 15 minutes to create the financial plan for 2 years. And then we have the business side of things, where we also help business entrepreneurs build the financial models. Because, me as a financial advisor, accountant, I had many customers all the time who were like, can you build that financial model for me? Can you build that financial model for me? But that's one thing. One thing is to build that financial model. When you are a business owner, the other thing is to actually update it all the time. Like we were speaking before, right? Like the updating that financial model is super important. And so if you think of that, if I would have to go to my financial advisor every single month to tell him to please update the financial model by these numbers, and I will have to pay him every single month, that's a cost for me. And, as a small business owner, the most important is to cut those costs. And so, and to be in control of what you want to do. And so the business tool allows business owners, small entrepreneurs, to just do it by themselves, again, without any financial knowledge, because it's, again, step-by-step process. So everyone, even people with dyslexia, can do it, because at the end of the day, those products were built for people like me, who either have dyslexia, have ADHD, or don't know anything about finances.
I totally agree with you, Michael. Thank you very much for letting us know about your software. So, to our viewers, thank you very much for your time. We are nearly end of our session. We just have a few more minutes left, and we will talk about financial empowerment for neurodivergent individuals. If you wanted to ask us any question, please feel free to ask us through the comment box. And today we are talking about finance, and I know that we don't want to talk about finance. Sometimes we just wanted to forget about our finance, but there's the core things. You have to talk about your finance. You need to know what you are spending and what you are earning, and based on that you can have a nice and wealthy and happy life, I would say. So talking about your finance will give you stability. Talking about your finance, understanding your finance, will give you a good future. And we have Michael, the finance guy, I would say, understand finance very well, and he has his software Uniflow to support anyone, even they don't have a zero financial knowledge. They can utilize it. I will ask you one question, like, if you wanted to give our viewers 5 key specification of your software, what would you tell them that what they can do? 5 specification.
So the first one, let's say it's going to be, and the most crucial one for me, is to plan your finances, obviously, because that's the first step in everything. Plan your finances for the whole year within, again, 15 minutes. So that will be the one functionality that is main for me, the core one. Then the second one, people can automate their finances by connected bank accounts. The third one, they can track their finances by, like I said before, we have weekly stuff, we have monthly stuff, so you can very easily track all of that stuff on a daily basis as well. The fifth one, or fourth one, again, fourth one, which is very important, especially in the cost of living crisis, is the debt management features. Okay, so you can put your debts, you can connect your credit cards, and really see how much money you have in debt if you are not aware, because a lot of people are afraid of actually looking how much money they're in debt. A lot of people are also afraid of looking at their accounts because they don't know what to expect. And so that's the fourth one, which is debt management. You in the probably next month you will be able to also, we will create a financial debt management planning, so you will see when exactly you will get out of the debt that you have. And the fifth one, which I often forget about but is actually very very important to me as well, is like, we will, based on your finances, we are able to show you how much money you will have if you will, for example, lose your job,
Mm-hmm.
or if you would like to change your job. So let's imagine that if you want to change your job but you're not sure whether you can afford of like 3 or 4 or 5 months of looking for the job, or you don't know whether you can afford even a 1 month. So we have that feature that shows you exactly to the day how many days you have to find a new job, or to just change your life if you want to change your life,
Mm-hmm.
based on your finances. So I think those will be the main five core features of the app. If anyone would like to start using it, please contact me. I will give you the whole year discount on it. Just contact me, and we can definitely talk about it. um so yeah, so I think those will be the main five features. I think one of the most important parts of it as well is that, like I said, a lot of people are afraid of looking at their bank accounts,
Mm-hmm.
and I was there too. Like few years ago, because I was in that, I was like, I don't want to look at it because I don't know what I'm gonna find there.
Mm-hmm.
But because you are able right now, because I am able to plan my finances very granularly, to the point, month by month, for 2 years ahead. I exactly know now how much money I can find on my bank account. So I don't stress about it, and I'm not afraid of actually going there, because I know ahead that, let's say, I will have £500 on the 15th of March. I'll have, 800 pounds um, on 20th of March, because I have some income coming. So based on all of that stuff, I can plan, I can change, I can do whatever I want, and don't stress anymore. And so that is really big relief for myself, and I hope it will be for other people as well.
I understand, Michael. Thank you very much to you, and thank you to all of our audiences for your time and contribution today. We need your support to social media as well as in the community. We are trying to create enough awareness to the people with individual of our programs and webinars to let people know that, okay, if you're neurodivergent, that is not end of the road. If you're neurodivergent, it's a new life. You are special, and you can do special things with your power. And we will make this more this world livable, because we can think out of the box. We are those people. They think about people. We have a soft heart, so that's why we most of the time we cannot take critical decision, because we think about what will happen to the people, what will happen to the community, what will happen to you, what will happen to many people. So but here we are. We have to take some critical decisions when we do our businesses, because you need to earn money when you do businesses. Or even though if you are doing a charity, you need to earn money to serve people. Without that, it's not possible. So finance is the core thing for anyone. They are doing any business incubation, either charity or limited company. So here we have Michael Stan from Uniflow to talk about finances. And if you wanted to ask him any question, please feel free to ask him through the comment box. I will ask the last uh, question to you. If you wanted to have anything, last remarks to say to our audience, what would you say to them?
I think the last thing is, if you struggle financially, there are people there to help you. And I was there myself. So if you are in that position, just message me, let's talk about this, and I will be more than happy to help you for free, because I've been there. I know how it was to be in that kind of situation. And yeah, I just would like to help at the moment as many people as I can, because I have that opportunity to do so.
That's great to our viewers. If you wanted to have Michael, please feel free to contact him through the social media. DM him through LinkedIn, and he will be more than happy to talk to you about your finance. He will not charge a single penny to do that. Um, we have to go today, and we will come next week with another of our guests, and we will talk about individual topics as we bring individual guests and individual topics in each of the webinar. So, Michael, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you for
And
having me.
I will say thank you to our viewers. Your continuous support. I'm very glad that we can continue our program, and we want more of your support for our future programs, and as well as our socials, and as well as community. If you know someone, neurodivergent or non-neurodivergent person, they are struggling with finance or any other tentative matters, that can you can refer them to us. We can talk to them directly in terms of finance, in terms of mental health, in terms of work, in terms of business incubation, and many other topics that we can cover. We have many individual to support us with locally, nationally, and globally. So for your support and for your time today, thank you, and I will say you bye bye, and I will welcome you next week. Until then, stay tuned, be safe, be happy, and see you next week. Bye bye.